In a world filled with darkness and despair, one man's twisted journey into hatred and violence towards women took center stage. This is the story of Michael Madison, a man consumed by his deep-rooted hatred for women. Brace yourselves for a chilling tale that will leave you questioning the depths of human depravity. Michael Madison was born on a fateful day, October 15, 1977, in East Cleveland. His mother, Diane Madison, had a troubled past, growing up with a single mother who turned to drugs and prostitution. This upbringing left Diane with distorted views on parenting, resulting in a turbulent and abusive environment for young Michael. As a child, Michael rarely had the chance to play with other kids and experienced a lack of joy on birthdays and holidays. Instead, he faced a revolving door of his mother's transient boyfriends, who subjected him and his half-brother Grant to harsh discipline. The horrors Michael endured were unimaginable. When Michael was only 2 years old, his mother forced food down his throat, causing him to vomit. In a fit of rage, she then submerged him in scalding water, leaving him scarred physically and emotionally. This shocking incident came to light when the Department of Child and Family Services intervened, but their intervention only led to another unfortunate placement, this time with his grandmother, a former prostitute and heroin addict. Despite the brief reprieve, the problems persisted. Michael's life continued to be marred by abuse and neglect. He was frequently hospitalized, showing signs of dehydration and bearing bruises and scratches. The scars of his traumatic childhood left an indelible mark on his psyche, fueling a growing hatred for women and a resentment towards any female authority figure. As Michael entered adulthood, his troubled past manifested in alarming ways. He confessed to one girlfriend that he despised the entire female species. By the age of 16, he had already left his mother's home, leading a transient life, sleeping wherever he could find shelter. At one point, he even moved to Pennsylvania, where he lived with his uncle, engaging in a disturbing arrangement of sharing sexual partners. His criminal record began to accumulate. At 17, he faced charges of delinquency for inappropriately touching a classmate. Then, at 20, he landed in jail due to drug-related offenses, but his most heinous act was yet to come. In October 2001, Michael brutally attacked an 18-year-old woman in East Cleveland, dragging her behind a house with the intent to rape her. Fortunately, police arrived on the scene and scared him off. He was eventually apprehended and sentenced to 4 years in prison for attempted assault. During his time in prison, Michael underwent treatment for sex offenders, but upon his release, he settled back in the East Cleveland area, concealing his own address by registering under his mother's name on the sex offender registry. He turned to a life of drug dealing to make ends meet, all the while harboring dark and twisted thoughts. Meanwhile, Michael entered into a complicated web of relationships. He convinced his girlfriend, Brittany Darby, to move in with him, under the pretense of having an open relationship. Simultaneously, he started seeing another woman named Shanta Mahone. Unbeknownst to Brittany, Michael was engaging with multiple women, some of whom were less willing participants. In September of 2012, Michael convinced a woman named Brittany Darby to move in with him. Unbeknownst to Brittany, Michael was also involved with another woman named Shanta Mahone. His insidious desires compelled him to seek control over these women, as his hatred continued to grow. During this time, a young woman named Shatisha Shealy vanished without a trace. Her concerned family reported her disappearance, but their fears were initially dismissed due to her unstable history. Little did they know the horrors that awaited them. The ominous odor of decay permeated Michael's apartment. Brittany, unaware of the grisly secret hidden within the walls, questioned the source of the stench. Michael concocted a feeble excuse involving raccoons, but suspicions lingered. On July 19, 2013, neighbors alerted the authorities about the foul smell emanating from a nearby garage. When the police arrived, they discovered a chilling sight: a naked female body wrapped in layers of garbage bags. The search for truth had just begun. Michael's web of deception unraveled when law enforcement traced the garage to his name. After a standoff at his mother's house, he was apprehended. The investigation led to the discovery of 2 more bodies, victims of Michael's heinous crimes. As news of his arrest spread, the community was shocked to learn the true extent of his dark deeds. As the interrogation continued, the truth began to unravel, piece by piece. Michael's distorted perspective and twisted sense of justice clashed with the evidence stacked against him. The painstaking investigation, led by Detective Johnson and his team, ensured that justice would prevail. Weeks later, the courtroom was filled with the families of the victims, eager for closure. Michael, now in an orange jumpsuit, sat quietly, devoid of the arrogance he once displayed. The weight of his actions pressed heavily upon him as he awaited his fate. As the gavel came down, sealing Michael Madison's fate, the courtroom fell into a heavy silence. The weight of his heinous crimes hung in the air, casting a shadow over the lives he had forever altered. The families of the victims, filled with grief and anger, sought solace in the justice that had been served. Michael was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The judge pronounced this punishment after he was found guilty of the heinous crimes of murder and torture. This means that Michael will spend the rest of his life behind bars, with no chance of release or parole. The room was filled with a mixture of emotions: heartbreak, anger, and a lingering sense of disbelief. How could one person be responsible for such unimaginable acts of violence? The faces of the victims, whose lives were abruptly cut short, were remembered through tear-filled eyes and shattered hearts. The devastation caused by Michael Madison's actions extended far beyond the courtroom walls. The ripple effect of his hatred and violence reverberated through the lives of those left behind, forever scarred by the loss of their loved ones. For the families, justice was bittersweet. While the verdict provided some closure, it could never bring back the lives that had been cruelly stolen. But they vowed to honor the memories of their daughters, sisters, and mothers by seeking strength and solace in their shared grief. The community, shaken by the revelation of these heinous crimes, came together to support one another. They held vigils, shared stories, and raised their voices against the darkness that had infiltrated their streets. They refused to let fear define them, choosing instead to stand united in the face of tragedy. In the aftermath of the trial, Michael Madison's name would forever be associated with horror and brutality, but the community was determined to rise above the darkness and reclaim their neighborhood from the grasp of fear. They joined forces to rebuild, to heal, and to ensure that such a tragedy would never be forgotten. As time passed, the wounds slowly began to heal, leaving behind scars that would always serve as a reminder of the resilience of the human spirit. The memory of the victims remained alive in the hearts of those who had loved them, and their legacy would continue to inspire community to strive for a safer, more compassionate world. Michael Madison's story, a chilling tale of hatred and violence, serves as a stark reminder of the darkness that can exist within the human soul. But it also serves as a call to action, a call to stand against such hatred, to protect the vulnerable, and to foster a society built on empathy, understanding, and love. In the end, the story of Michael Madison is not just a tale of monsters, it's a story of hope, resilience, and the unyielding human spirit. It's a reminder that even in the face of unspeakable evil, the light of compassion and unity will always prevail. That's it for today's video. Meet you in the next one. Until then, stay safe.